Hello, I am a 32-year-old man. First of all, I will write that it has always been difficult for me to meet women and be in relationships. I have been single for years, but not because I wanted to, but because women simply either do not respond or do not notice me. Of course, the older I got, the harder it became. I met a woman at 37, now 38, and we gradually entered into a relationship having already been together for 7 months. I would like to add here that I have always wanted children, specifically two, and I thought that someday I would meet a life partner who wanted the same. And here is the key dilemma, that my friend has an older child from a previous marriage, but over the months I found out from her that she actually did not want it before, and rather it happened because of her ex-husband's persistence. Recently there was even talk about my best friend, and that his friend, although still pregnant, is already making plans for a second child, to which my friend said that she was very terrified of giving birth. Of course, I respect everyone's opinion and views, but I can't help but say that it didn't hurt me because the chance of us having something in common, let alone two, is close to zero. I'm thinking about asking her soon, on Valentine's Day, whether she actually wants to or not, so that we don't both live in illusions.
I definitely feel scared because I love her and I wouldn't want to lose her. Wow, that right there, that sentence just cut straight to the heart of this incredibly common and incredibly painful situation. You've got so much love for a partner, all tangled up with this deep, deep fear of loss. And it's not just fear of losing the person, is it? It's fear of losing a future you've always imagined. So in this explainer, let's break this down together and see if we can find a path towards some clarity.
So, here we are, a painful crossroads. This is that moment in a really serious relationship where you start to realize that love, as powerful as it is, might not be enough if your fundamental life goals are pointing in totally different directions. And this is something so many people face, and it is profoundly difficult every single time.
Okay, first things first, let's just validate what is happening here. Feeling torn, feeling scared, feeling pressured, all of that is a completely normal response. Of course it is. You've got this deep love and affection for your partner on one side and this core life desire on the other. It's a huge emotional conflict, and there's no easy button to just turn one of them off.
So to move forward, we have to carefully untangle these feelings. It is so easy for fear to just cloud our judgment, It makes it almost impossible to see what we truly want and what we truly need. So let's try to separate the core desire from the core fear.
This really visualizes the conflict perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you have the desire for a family. That's a lifelong dream, a need for a shared future. And on the other side, you've got this deep fear of loss. The fear of losing a partner you really love, of facing loneliness again, of having to start all over. These are two of the most powerful forces in our lives, and right now, they're pulling in opposite directions.
And this is what makes it all so urgent. At ages 32 and 38, time is not some abstract idea anymore. It's a real, practical factor in the equation. The biological clock is a reality, and the time for just waiting and wondering is, well, it's limited. In a way, it just isn't for a couple in their 20s. So the need for clarity isn't just emotional, it's logistical.
Let's really focus on this fear of loneliness for a moment. It is so powerful, especially after being single for a long time. But it's absolutely crucial to distinguish between staying with someone because they are truly the right partner for your whole life and staying with them because you're afraid of being alone. That second reason can lead to so much resentment for both people down the road. So how do we get that clarity? How do we find the answer? Well, it really comes down to one thing: a direct, honest, and loving conversation. And look, this isn't about starting a fight. It's about preventing a future crisis. It is a necessary act of respect for both you and your partner.
This lays out a really clear game plan for that talk. First, timing is everything. Seriously, don't bring this up during an argument or when you're both exhausted. Second, lead with love. Make it clear that this conversation is happening because you value the relationship so much. Third, use I statements to share how you feel without pointing fingers. And finally, and this is probably the hardest part, you have to be ready to truly listen to their answer, whatever it might be.
And here's a great way to actually start. Just notice how this opener isn't an accusation. It's not a demand. It's an invitation. It establishes love as the foundation right from the get-go, and it frames the whole discussion around a common goal, which implies you see yourselves as a team. This sets a collaborative tone, not a confrontational one.
Let's talk a little more about these I statements, because they are a game changer. When you say, "I feel hurt when I think we might not have a shared future with kids," that's completely different from saying, "You are ruining my dream of having a family." See the difference? The first one shares your emotional reality, and it invites empathy. The second one is an accusation that's just going to trigger defensiveness and probably shut the whole conversation down. Okay, now we come to the part that we all fear the most, the answer. The truth is, you can't control the outcome of this conversation. You just can't. But what you can do is prepare for it. And believe me, there is immense strength to be found in simply knowing the truth, whatever that truth may be.
Ultimately, this conversation is going to lead down one of two potential paths. If the answer is yes, then a beautiful new chapter of planning together can begin. But if the answer is no, you face a profoundly difficult choice. And there's no right or wrong answer here. There's only what is true for you. The question really becomes, can you build a happy, fulfilled life with this person without having more children? Only you can answer that.
Please remember this. No matter what happens, this conversation is an act of courage. It's a commitment to living an authentic life. What you're doing is trading a comfortable, but maybe fragile illusion for a future, whether that's together or apart, that is built on the solid ground of truth.
So, what's the ultimate goal here? It's not to win the argument. It's not to change someone's mind. The goal is simply clarity. Because clarity, even when it's painful, is actually a form of kindness to both of you.
This is the core takeaway. This is the whole thing right here. Continuing on in ambiguity, just hoping things will magically change, that only postpones the inevitable, and it wastes precious, precious time. An uncomfortable truth allows you both to make real, informed decisions about your lives, instead of living in a fantasy that might never happen. Ultimately, seeking this clarity is the most loving and respectful thing you can do. It respects your own life goals, and it respects your partner enough to hear their truth and allow them to live authentically too. It's a brave step toward a future that, no matter what it looks like, will be real.
And that leaves us with one final thought. You know, the specifics of this situation might not apply to everyone, but the feeling underneath it often does. So, the question to take with you is this. What important conversation are you avoiding in your own life, simply because you're afraid of the answer?